Good day, good day. It's time for another episode of Drew's Book Reviews and discussion about fantasy, different types of fantasy magic systems, and he's here with epic tales. This guy's keeping it epic. So let's talk about this, man.
You know what's actually very interesting about this video is that we're just having such a natural, organic conversation about it, and midway through, Drew is like, guys, like, we should we should actually talk about this on video and make a video about it. And I was like, yeah. And so we spoke about this a little bit yesterday when he arrived.
Yeah.
And I already know the answer to this, but for the sake of the people watching, do you prefer a hard magic system or a soft magic system, and why?
For sure, 100%. I like a hard magic system.
Okay.
If you've been watching my channel, I've got a whole playlist of nonfiction. You know I love to get into the science and how things work. And with a hard magic system, that's what you get into. There are rules for how the magic works. There are limits to what the magic can do. There are certain circumstances and environmental factors that have to be in place for that magic to operate. It's got its own rules and its own structure, like the real world, like the scientific, especially with physics, which I read a lot of physics books. It's got these rules of physics and how the world operates, and the hard magic system is kind of like that. There's the physics of magic, so to speak, where it's got these particular, and I love getting into that, being someone who loves to learn and getting into the nitty-gritty of how things work. That hard magic system, I love reading about that. And it's not to say that a soft magic system doesn't have its place, but and it's got to be the right type of story as well. Like, take the Lord of the Rings, for example. We mentioned this yesterday. Lord of the Rings, magic isn't really a key component of the story. It's there in the story. It's there in the world. There are people who can use magic, like Gandalf, and sometimes magic is used. But magic isn't the driving force behind the story. There's magical elements within the story for sure, but because it's not the driving force, it doesn't need to have that hard system in place to explain how it works. But you look at the Cosmere with Brandon Sanderson and all his different worlds. Magic is a key component of the story. It's a key component of the plot. It's a key component of how things work in that world, that it's vital that it be a hard magic system. I mean, could you imagine, especially if you think about, I know you haven't read much into Cosmere, but if you think about any book with a hard magic system, imagine how that plot, that story, how well would it function if it were a soft magic system when magic is so integral to the plot and story? It just wouldn't work. And so the setting has to be important with that. And while we all have our own preference, I prefer the hard one because I love getting into the nitty-gritty how things work. Also, it can be detrimental to a story if you're trying to impose the wrong type of magic system for the wrong type of story.
Yes, but you see, like, I feel like with magic system, from a writing perspective, I feel like you can get yourself stuck, and you might want to like expand on the boundaries of the rules because you're trying to like introduce something new that you recently got excited about, but then you are bound by the rules that you created. And I feel like with hard magic systems, especially when there's this trope in fantasy where there's the chosen one, and like for some reason he has some special abilities, and that allows him to stretch beyond the average person that uses magic. So sometimes when like you'd have to get it right to not break your magic system, but at the same time make the main character special in how he's able to use magic, either as an expression of skill or talent. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you have to, like,
was Wheel of Time when you mentioned the Chosen One trope.
Yes.
With Randolph. Well, one thing that's interesting about that, and this might even be a hot take, but I kind of feel like the magic system in Wheel of Time, it's not quite hard and it's not quite soft. It seems to be some kind of meshing of the two, that. Because like the Sidene, Sidar, the true source, the true power, all that stuff, they're pretty important to the story, and we kind of talk a little bit about who can draw which power, but it's never really gotten into precisely how that magic works. And yet it's involved enough in the story that I can't really call it soft, but I struggle to call it hard at the same time.
So another book I read that I absolutely love the magic system is Beyond Redemption. So, Delusion Manifest, and I feel like you should really read the book. That is another staple grimdark book you have to read. As far as I'm concerned, I have friends that tell me, well, you just haven't read enough grimdark to say that, but I really love Beyond Redemption. And Beyond Redemption by Michael Fletcher. So the magic system there is one of the best I've experienced, and it's a combination of hard and soft. So there's a general concept, right, and that there's a general rule that controls the way people use magic, and it's basically delusion manifest. So the more delusional you are, the more powerful you are. So the level of your delusion is the level of your power. And he's one of these writers, right, that delves into the interiority of what is going on in the character's mind. So you can actually see what makes each character insane. So the characters that have the most outrageous POVs are like the most powerful characters.
Okay, you've sold me. You've sold me.
So but they don't explain how they do it, but it's just like, okay, this is why this character is powerful, and you can see why how they are thinking creates the world around them.
Mad magic users. It's that insane magic. That just sounds awesome. Which actually kind of reminds me, I'm rereading Brent Week's Lightbringer series right now, which, yes, there you go.
Right there,
yeah. Bloodmeer Book 4. So I'm rereading this series right now through graphic audio, which, by the way, I'm loving the graphic audio version of it. It's just so awesome in graphic audio. But one of the parts of this world that's created, of course, it's all light magic, and now avoid spoilers because I know you haven't read it yet. But part of it is there's this group of magic users called Wights, and they are spliced like WIGHT, Wights. And essentially, these are people that have used so much magic that the doctrine of the world is that they've gone insane. And they're very dangerous and they need to be put down. And it's just really interesting. You mentioned the one magic system where the more delusional, crazy you are, the more powerful you are. And that reminds me, like, hey, these Wights, they're crazy magic users that are very powerful. So it just kind of reminded me of that. And there's just so many amazing magic systems out there. So many of these fantasy authors are just incredibly talented, for one, in writing their stories, but their imaginations are just phenomenal. They even come up with these ideas to begin with. And sometimes I wonder, how many years were you working on these magic systems and these concepts before you actually started writing them? Because some of them could just be so creative. Some of them could be very complex. If you read Sanderson, this guy, his magic systems are crazy.
So a hard magic system that I really, really enjoyed. I don't hate on hard magic systems. I like them when they're done well, but my preference is towards soft magic systems. However, one of the magic systems that I really enjoyed reading was Will White. He is so creative. Have you read The Cradle?
I've got it on ebook format on my tablet at home. It's on my to-be read pile because Andrew's Wizardly Reads would not shut up about it.
No, there's a reason why he wouldn't shut up about it. And yes, I know I've said this so many times, but I knew Will White before he was Will White. I knew Will White when he had his first book called Traveler's Gate, right? And the Traveler's Gate is still a book anytime I have a reading slump, I read that book and I snap out of it. He just reminds me why I love reading, because his books are so fun to read and all his magic systems are hard, and he is so creative with it. And I love it. I usually prefer soft magic systems because I'm a guy. I love my details. I love understanding how things work. But when it comes to magic, right, I like an attitude around it where it is ingrained in the world so much that it feels natural. Like it feels like breathing. It feels like like the characters in the book don't see magic and they're surprised, like, wow, magic is being performed. It feels like that's just a part of daily life. That puts me in, and that was the kind of effect that Lord of the Rings had for me. It was just like relentless and non-stop, and magic was a part of the world. And when you're doing magic like that, where it's ingrained in the world, it's ingrained in actions, and it's casual, it really puts me in that state of mind where I feel like I feel lost in the world.
Oh, totally.
That sense of mystery. Yeah.
I would also consider Terry Goodkind's Sword of Truth, and I know there's probably some people that might disagree with me on this, and that's totally fine, but I would consider Terry Goodkind's Sword of Truth a kind of a soft magic system. I mean, there are like wizard's rules which kind of govern how certain things works, but in general, a lot of the different types of magic in it, they're explained that this is what the magic does. But so that was a really good series that I think has a good soft magic system. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this discussion about fantasy and the different types of fantasy and magic systems. Make sure you subscribe to Epic Tales. Subscribe to me. Hit that like button. Let us know down below. What do you like about fantasy? What do you like about soft or hard magic systems? What do you prefer? Tell us down below in the comments. Join both of our Discords. We'll have that all linked below as well. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, until next time, keep on reading.
Stay epic.